Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We're excited to give you a bit of a report on our latest adventures. It's been a while, been a couple of weeks.
It has been.
And a lot has happened. And because of our travel and difficulties and stuff, we haven't done a proper report, so forgive us. But I hope this will be beneficial.
Yeah.
So, a couple of key things. We moved to Florida. That is done. We got some bad news from Rivian. There was an interesting announcement from Chevrolet that we've acted on. And so we want to share those updates with you. And then we'll, so give us a minute.
Yeah, thanks.
So our move, we rented a relatively small truck. The trucks cost more the bigger they are. And so from U-Haul, we ordered a pretty small truck. And so the first big challenge was getting everything on the truck.
Yeah.
Gail was right. She was worried more about that than I was. But as we got closer and closer to the deadline, it became clearer to me that was going to be a problem. But so we shipped...
We shipped 5 boxes.
Six boxes. Yeah.
That would not have made it onto the truck, so we're glad we did that.
Yeah, that was a smart move that Gail encouraged me to do. So we got that done, got the truck loaded. We hired movers that did a great job. Really a fantastic job. They crammed like you wouldn't believe. It was just the best job of Tetris ever played. But yeah, they got everything on, and so we started our drive, and we actually were able to start driving on the day we loaded because they got it done pretty early in the day. And so, by 3 o'clock or so, we
left.
Heading out of town.
Left Salt Lake.
And so that was on the Tuesday, the 21st, that we left town. And on the 22nd, we drove into New Mexico. And as we were getting tired toward the end of the day, we had an interesting experience. We just filled up with gas. We're cruising along the freeway. I think, what was it, I-40?
I think so.
I-40 through there, and heading over toward Texas, still in New Mexico, and a big rig came passing by and honking at us. And so we thought, well, there must be something wrong. So we pulled over and looked, and sure enough, the instant I got out of the truck, I could see the problem. We were dragging the gas station hose, the gas tank hose, right? So we'd been driving up 25 miles or so or 20 miles from the gas station with the hose sticking out of the truck. So we pulled it out and took it back, drove, it was about a 50-mile out of our way trip to go back.
And we were so tired.
So, oh heavens. Okay, so we did that, survived that, spent the night in New Mexico, and then the next morning we got up to head into Texas. And as we got into Texas, we started seeing warning lights coming on in the truck. And as we drove, Gail got U-Haul on the phone, and we started talking to U-Haul about the condition of the truck. And first, they encouraged us to stop and wait for roadside assistance to come, and then finally they insisted. So when we got to Childress,
Texas,
home of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we stopped and waited for roadside assistance, and they came and confirmed that, in fact, the truck was broken.
Yeah.
And they didn't want us to drive anymore. They concluded that we had overloaded it. Whether that caused the failure or not is not clear, but we really had packed it tight. And so anyway, big delay. But we ended up spending 3 days after a night in Childress in Wichita Falls, which is very near Oklahoma. And neither Gail or I had ever visited Oklahoma.
Yep, so we went off for a drive up in Oklahoma.
Tell them about what we saw in Oklahoma.
What's the name of that reserve where we
we went to a reserve.
Went to a reserve and saw animals, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah, so we saw some bison and some cows and
bulls.
Yeah.
Just on the side of the road.
Yeah, so it was, amazing longhorn cattle out in the wilderness, which is weird, but okay. So
we weren't getting out of the car, that's for sure.
Yeah. But it was a beautiful drive, and so we felt like we had experienced a little bit of Oklahoma.
We'd never been there before, so it was a great time to go see it.
Hey, everybody. Gail and I are kind of enjoying a weird Christmas, if ever there was one. And that was our Christmas Day activity.
Yeah.
It was visiting Oklahoma.
Yeah, the truck broke down. Christmas Eve, they took the truck, and so Christmas Eve, Christmas, and the next day, there was nothing being done on the truck. So we took advantage of that time and went up to Oklahoma.
Yeah, we had a great time. So we actually made the most of our misfortune, if we could even call it that. And then Monday the 27th, loaded up the new truck that U-Haul gave us, a much, much larger truck. Well, in fact, it was twice as big.
Yeah.
So everything fit comfortably, and they paid to transload it quickly, and so we got on our way on the 27th pretty early in the afternoon, and it wasn't a long day of drive, but we got through the Dallas area and stayed in a little place outside Dallas, and then the next day we passed through at least parts of 5 different states.
Yes.
Quite a trip. So we started in Texas,
then Louisiana, then Mississippi.
Yeah. And
then Florida.
Alabama.
Alabama.
Alabama,
and then Florida.
Yeah.
It was beautiful to see the different states, the different scenery. We enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah. One of the great things about driving that big truck is it was great practice for, towing a trailer. Because we were towing the car on a trailer the whole time. And so we look forward to days when we'll be driving a smaller truck and trailer than that. But there's a lot that would be smaller, that would be still pretty big. Because we were about 45 feet long, so it was a big rig. After we unloaded here, and it was exciting to sort of get to our house, right?
Yeah, we'd never seen it in person, just online, so it was fun to actually get here and walk in the doors.
Yeah, and I think we like it.
Yeah.
Overall, it's what I expected.
Yeah. Still settling in, finding spots for all our stuff, but yeah, we like it.
So we're happy. The next day we took the truck to, while we had it, took advantage, went to IKEA and bought lots of furniture because we didn't bring some of our old furniture that we weren't happy with. So we've replaced that with boxes from IKEA that will one day be turned into furniture. And then that night we took the truck back, turned it in, and we had set our destination as St. Augustine. Which is just 30 miles away, but by doing so, the truck rental was $500 cheaper. So we got paid $500 to drive an extra 30 miles, and the timing was perfect.
And go see St. Augustine.
Yeah. So St. Augustine is one of the most historic places in the country.
Yeah.
And they do about 60 days of Nights of Lights, where they do holiday, Christmas lights, and it is fabulous. And so we drove in near dusk, and then we drove out in our little car and were able to just wind through town seeing the fabulous Christmas lights.
It was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
Something we hope to see again and again. It was that good. And, the crowds were huge, but it's just an amazing thing to do. So we look forward to that. Well, let's talk about the Rivian.
Yeah,
Shall we
let's
talk about
get
the
on to that for sure.
Yeah, so bad news from Rivian. Just as we were loading up the truck, we got an email from Rivian saying that our model that we've requested with the long range, the max battery, will not be available until the second half of 2023. And we really think that best intentions aside, that probably means for a young company that has made about 700 trucks so far, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
So we're thinking, the realistic hope might be Christmas of 2023, and it could be much worse than that. So we're very anxious about what that might mean, and disappointed. So we've begun to think about what we can do, and we've been thinking about a lot of options, but the one that we've kind of settled on to explore next is to get a tiny trailer, a pop-up of some sort perhaps, that we can tow with our Chevy Bolt. We won't be able to go far, we won't be able to cross the country, but we're thinking we can at least practice and prepare for the day when we have a decent trailer. Gail, tell them a little bit about what you think about that.
I think it's going to be great. We can still learn about adding solar to it and traveling around the state of Florida and the East and having a fun time.
Yeah. It's clear I can learn a lot from this. So the idea of a practice trailer makes a lot of sense. And I think Gail's also excited for us to be in a very small rig.
Yes, after that big one. Small one sounds great right now.
The big rig did stress her out. Me too. And so we're looking forward to
something a lot smaller.
Yeah,
to try to.
Yeah, and building our skills with a small trailer makes a lot of sense, I think. Then Chevy, on the same day, though, the announcement was made about the Rivian being late. Chevy announced that they would be introducing an electric Silverado. Their answer to the Ford F-150, basic full-size pickup. That was kind of exciting, and so the formal announcement was to be made January 5th. So that, as we're recording this, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
What did you think of that
and
truck?
We watched it, and I think it's going to be great. There's a lot they did not tell us about, but what we did see, what they did show, I think it's going to be great for towing an RV.
Yeah, it has a little less towing capacity than the Rivian, but it has the same range. That's the key thing. Is it's got a 400-mile range, and they harped on that over and over again, and I think they have correctly identified that is a place where they can compete very favorably with the Ford F-150, which has about a 250-mile range, and that will enable towing of a vehicle farther. Obviously, towing a trailer, it's going to go roughly half as far, but that's why the range is so incredibly important. If you don't start with a big number, your trailer towing number gets to be tiny.
Yeah, and most of your time charging.
And we'll experiment with that with the Bolt, perhaps. That's what we're hoping to be doing. So we watched that presentation. I thought the presentation itself was disappointing. The information, the details about the Silverado were disappointing. But as a backup plan, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, but what we did see, we liked.
Yes. It has good range, adequate towing capacity, and so we think that we were among the very first to reserve a Chevy Silverado. So we are hoping to be at the front of that line when this happens, and so they're promising to start selling the Chevy Silverados in the spring of 23. Now, that could be as early as March 21st. I'm hearing, in car production promising speak that would be June of 2023. But in any case, 15 to 18 months from now, we think that will be available. We're hoping that by then we'll have clarity on the Rivian and that we won't actually take the Chevy Silverado. But if the Chevy Silverado details and pricing come out in a really favorable way, who knows? Maybe we'll take that and
the first one that comes
and pass on the Rivian. So we'll see. Yeah. We now have. So we've got
the Tesla.
Tesla is on, or we've got our reservation for that.
Mm-hmm. The Rivian,
and now
and the Chevy.
Yeah. So
we've got three
3 trucks on order.
Whatever one comes first, we'll take.
Yeah, it's crazy. We really want to do this. We're excited. But, man alive, we're not the only ones, apparently. It's hard to get one of these things. And so we'll be watching with enthusiasm as this market develops over the next 12 to 18 months. So, and in the meantime, we'll keep you posted on our activities with our practice trailer.
Yeah.
And we'll update you on that every week. So anyway,
that's
kind of our report.
That's our report. Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye.